Alrighty. Hi, everyone. I see Hilda, Danielle, and Marika. Welcome to our very first panel of the year. This panel today, we will be featuring three amazing women founders who are really killing it, and I cannot wait to chat more about them, especially for their growth strategies, really like discussing what has been working for them, what they have seen going on right now in the industry, in their own particular niche as well, and really just like gaining that industry insight. So, Founder Vision 2025, today we will have three panelists. Let me start with the first panelist speaker, Hilda Perez. Hi, Hilda. So, Hilda is the COO from Salud, a Dominican American entrepreneur with 15 years of experience in legacy business management. Hilda brings unique insights on sustainable agriculture and food equity. Part of Adelphi University's 10 under 10, she represents the emerging wave of socially conscious business leaders. Welcome, Hilda. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so
And then,
much.
yes, and then our next speaker, Marike Kroschel. Marike, did I do the justice of pronouncing your name correctly? Yeah. So Marike, founder Yonavo, with 20 plus years of expertise in voice and communication therapy. Marike is pioneering sustainable solution in leadership development. Her innovative approach combines healthcare expertise with environmental consciousness in building a cutting-edge therapy and seminar center. Welcome, Marike. I'm so glad to have you here. And last but not least, we have Danielle Ruiz, founder Aeonian Skincare, transforming the skincare industry through science-backed clean beauty solution. Danielle collaborates with healthcare professionals to develop products that truly serve matching skin, focusing on barrier strength and collagen production. Danielle, welcome to the stage. Now, before we get started, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Arik Shozak. I am the CEO and head of strategy here at Cicalofia. We are a creative and web agency focusing on helping women-led brands really getting their brand established, translating their brand ideas into market, and also transforming their website into platform for success. Now, let's dive into our conversation today. I do have all of my questions ready to go, so I'm going to start this one in particular for the question number one, especially for Hilda on your food equity work and also like Marike's sustainable center. Now, for both of you, as leaders, right, integrating sustainability in your business model, how do you balance environmental impact with scalable growth? What does that look like to you?
I guess I'll start. Thank you so much for having us for sure this afternoon. I'm so excited to get to know both of you as well and learn more about your businesses. Um, how we really focus on it, because we are a small business that has been around for over 35 years, the big process has really been through the branding process, through how we create our products, through the partners that we work with, specifically focusing on the laboratory because we do vitamins and supplements, making sure that they are third-party tested, that they're also sourcing from places in a sustainable way, that it's not going to be extractive but more additive to the supply chain, right? A big part of that also has been that we switched like all of our product bottles, making sure that they're glass, that they can be recycled. Focusing on even how we have our packaging, that the packaging itself has sustainable ink. Everything in that whole supply chain is really important for us. And that does then tie into directly with the growth. We see that the customer now is definitely much more savvy. They want to see more sustainable products. They're looking for those labels. With an authentic voice too, because we don't want to greenwash at all. We want to be as true to our brand and as true to the customer as possible.
Thank you, Hilda. Marike, what about you? Any thoughts or anything you want to elaborate more on that?
Yeah, I'm from Germany. I think we have this sustainable ideas going around in a different way. So it's part of and for me, sustainability, it's like there's always this comparing between, or this gap between how to grow and stay or reach sustainability. And I think in the first hand, it's really about to reframe what means that to you. So if you have this goal as an entrepreneur, that you want to have a reliable system, that you want to have reached the IDGs or have kind of your own sustainable vision, it's kind of to reframe the concept of growth. So, and for me, I could make an internship quite a long time ago when I was a student in a company which produced natural colors. And they founded in the 90s. And I really learned a lot there because they really start from scratch in a garage and simply just grow that much. Every employee was capable to follow the system and continue working there. So because the main vision of the founder was to never leave somebody behind. And this was really powerful for me to be a part of, to understand it. And in my case, so I'm not producing, so I don't have products. So I'm a therapist, I'm a coach in the first hand. And for example, my workshop place is completely sustainable, renovated. So I used exactly the colors from that company to have kind of showroom where people can come, and it's not just about getting a coaching, getting a therapy. So it's the environment, so that people who have not this idea or maybe are curious or never thought about, they're finding themselves in that room, which is, or in the whole apartment, which is completely sustainable with a lot of wood and clay. So, and they start to feel that, and they comment, they understand it smells different. And I think this is much more what I try to give to the people I'm working with, and also to the companies I'm connected with, that it's more about making that shift in the mind. So, and if you then can create your own vision of your sustainability impact, then it simply grows by itself. So then it's a domino. This is what I'm believing in.
I love that you mentioned it's not just for businesses who have products, right? I think service-based businesses or even like community type of businesses and organization could create impact in sustainability as well. Danielle, I know sustainability isn't really like a big part of, your focus, but I'm really curious, like, are you doing anything around that for the business? What are your thoughts on that?
I would say that sustainability is very important to my business and the beauty industry at
Yeah.
large. So, if you look at the amount of product in landfills, you could probably say that our industry is one of the largest, part of those landfills filling up. So when I began Eonian, one of the things that's always been important to me, I mean, I have a composter on my kitchen counter. So we've taught our children, we're heavy duty on recycling, but for the company, I think that some people talk about, well, sustainability and growth, and to me, they're not mutually exclusive, right? I think that if they're done thoughtfully, they can definitely help your company grow. So, when you think about carbon footprints and things like that, when I started this, I very much wanted to focus on US local suppliers and source everything that we possibly could from the US. Now, we do have some of our ingredients that are coming from Canada and Mexico, but we don't import anything. So, of course, that's an added cost, but I think it's the right thing to do. It also makes me a little less vulnerable to supply chain issues when it comes to packaging. And we'll get into this in some of your other questions, but I think it's really important. When Hilda was talking about going to glass, so 2 months after we launched, thank goodness I didn't order a lot of product. I had plastic containers, but they were recyclable. But I thought, you know what, we're just going to take the hit now. So we moved all of our jars to glass because it's forever recyclable, and our Supreme Recovery Cream, which we'll talk about later, we got a line through one of our labs on a manufacturer that is making airless pumps out of 100% recycled materials. And that is what now it was more expensive, but I think it's a balance, right? As you get with more like-minded consumers that care, I think that that extra $1.25 won't mean as much to them. And also where the ingredients are coming from and the fact that they're, safe, is another thing. So.
Wow, yes. And, to add with all of these different complexity for running a business, right? I'm actually just curious, out of the three of you, I know you talk a little bit about like making sure that this is the right thing to do, especially as we realize there's just so much landfill going into the earth. But when you made this decision, do you feel that your target audience truly going to, how do I say this? Like, is this part of their core value as well? Knowing that, yes, we do this because we know our target audience will align with this. Did you have that confidence? I guess I'm curious, out of the three of you, like how confident were you, right? When you say that you were going to make sure sustainability is going to be one of the practice for your business.
Like for me, it's I never questioned this, so it's like it has to be that way. So it's because it's simply a need, so we have to do that shift, and it's about this first question we had with the growing. So we had like decades of growing, and I think it's too much. So so it's because it's also the complexity about money behind that. So, and we exchange like success and grow. We have this exchange of we putting money instead. So, but value doesn't mean money, or could mean money, but don't need to be. And sustainability, or finding a path which is kind of more connected to make this earth, this place, more comfortable for everybody, or simply keep it. So there's maybe not so much need of so much money. We could do it in different ways. And for this, I think right now it's like kind of 20 years of try to find different paths, like Danielle said, like this shift into more glass, this shift into more regional products. So really, so, and it's more work. So, but it's in the forehand, it's making me, or I think also other entrepreneurs, you get more energy from that work, because this is a good work. And if you have kind of a good heart, you feel that value. It's spreading. So, and then the customers you need will come, and you don't need so many. Actually, you need what you need, and them you get.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing it. Danielle or Hilda, anything else to add before we get to second question? Officially second question.
I agree so much, and it's beautiful to see, both product and service-based businesses focusing on sustainability, because it is in the environment, it is how the customer is being treated, down to holding a beautiful bottle. And I think it really speaks to true entrepreneurship, or true kind of focusing and shifting and becoming social entrepreneurs, of thinking about that whole process. I know our company has done it for sure. It isn't really more, it wasn't like the customer themselves were demanding it. We saw the change in society and the demand happening. We saw the access there, because in the past, those glass bottles weren't accessible to us, and we were able to get that access. For us, it makes the most sense, because we are a plant-based, company. We do nutritional supplements. We also offer a service where my sister's the registered dietitian, and we work with local food advocacy organizations. So it just logically makes sense that we're going to work in such a way that helps the environment, helps as many people as possible, because our company might not exist if there aren't certain products, and if we're destroying the environment, it just doesn't logically make sense. So I really do agree that I think it goes hand in hand with growth at this point, for sure. as Danielle mentioned.
Thank you, Hilda. Danielle, anything else before I ask the next question? You good? Okay. All right. My next question, especially, I think this will apply for, Danielle, you talked about how some of the product has become, your approach to your product has been very much driven towards the sustainability, but also for your target audience. Now, talking about target audience as well as like customer, right? For customer feedback, how has that customer feedback, played into your business, the role that it has in, developing your product, as well as like, how do you incorporate their thoughts and maybe like complaints or even like things that they really really speak highly of you for that particular process for your product and services, and how does that really tie in with your innovation process?
It's a really good question. All right, and for the way that Eonian was structured, so I think for the benefit of the audience, I'll take 2 seconds and just say, I was not going to launch a skincare business. I started having problems in my 40s. I always had great skin. I was very lucky, but I also worked for it. So I had a 7-step routine. I was dedicated to it. I had it down to 10 minutes. And all of the sudden, everything started to change. And people are like, well, you're in your 40s. No, what I was doing is stripping my skin barrier over and over and over and over with retinol product, with this, just over and over, right? Lots of acids in there. So when I started to do research, I was still in corporate. And I found that a lot of filler chemicals that are in a lot of the brands that I love were also causing irritation on my skin. So when, Hildy said greenwashing, it is huge in the beauty industry. The more that I delved into it, I met with dermatologists, plastic surgeons, estheticians, nurse injectors. I mean, I went crazy for like 4 years of reading clinical trials, trying to figure out what was going on. And part of the reason that we keep looking at innovations in packaging is that we use the minimum preservatives that are allowed by the FDA because we still have to get to that 24-month shelf life or 18-month shelf life that they want. But by using the most clean, according to the EWG, ingredients. But when I actually saw that my friends wanted to use it, of course, my husband, my sons, my daughter, they were all my guinea pigs at home. I had a test group of about 38 men and about 46 women. And just by tweaking a few, I had 4 products that I really wanted to launch. And just by tweaking a few different things based on their feedback, I think we've come up with a fabulous solution. And now I'm getting younger and younger clients who are saying, no, this is working for me. I've had chronic dry skin since my 30s. And see, I was always oily. So I'm like, just be careful, do a patch test, right? Because what I asked the labs to do is I have a diverse friend group. So I wanted to make sure when I launched this that no one would have to worry about hyperpigmentation. Now, we had none of that come up in any of our lab tests, but will someone, and I'm going to knock on wood, ladies, because we're still new. We just launched last May. We've had no returns. So it feels like, and I know in skincare, sometimes people start to use it and be like, I'll just keep it in my cabinet. But the feedback has been enormously good, especially from men, because no one was really talking to men over 40. And they're very resistant, by the way. But once you get past that barrier, they will open up and say, I didn't know this. But based on their feedback, the men, we actually reformulated already our Sovereign Skin Balm, which is an aftershave balm. And if you have any men in your life with shave irritation, it's pretty incredible. Like someone who knows me actually had it. He had a red mask, he called it, his whole life. He put it on. He was like, whatever, I'll try it because it's Danielle. And walked in his closet to get dressed, walked back out and said for the first time in his life, he's in his 40s, he actually felt confident leaving. That's what I live for. I love when people are happy, but all of the decisions that I'm making are based on skin health instead of photoshopping and telling people that they can get a facelift in a bottle, right? It's still topical, guys. So I'm trying to use the most ethically sourced and responsibly sourced ingredients. I use organic extracts wherever it's possible to get a hold of them. And like I said, we're vegan. The products are all vegan, and the efficacy has been shown. Like our heart vegetable collagen is showing similar efficacy to anything else out there. So, that's how we really love hearing from our customers.
I love that you're really spotlighting a very specific target audience who, in the beauty industry in particular, right, in skincare, you don't really target men as much. And the fact that you actually took the chance and the time and investment to get to know them better and really understanding like how your product can really benefit them, it just speaks volume, right? So Danielle, yes, I think I will have to share this info with my husband because he has that issue. So it's like, okay, now I know what to, recommend to him. But Hilda and Marika, do you have any thoughts on like how you have incorporated your own customer feedback, right, with some of these innovation in your business as well as like sustainability practice that you have in your business?
Yeah, I think thank you, Daniel, for sharing that so much. It's so exciting, and congratulations on just launching. It's so fun and terrifying, but amazing work. Um, for us, for sure, the customer is very vocal. Their older demographic majority has been like around 55 plus, not older, but just because that's the demographic that tends to be more mindful to vitamins and supplements when we first started. Now it's definitely becoming younger, which is wonderful. Like hearing about a vegan collagen face cream, sign me up. I'm ready to go. I love this type of product. But our customer is very vocal. We do take their feedback into mind. They even send us, like, we use them as product testers too, because sometimes the lab will send something and we don't know till it goes out. And because it is all natural, it could be a little bit tinge in the color, and they'll take a picture and they'll send it to us, be like, hey, the bottle came back. We'll send them a free one, but it's also giving us the quick feedback to let the lab know that the batch might be off or they change an ingredient and we may not have known. So it's really wonderful to have such a strong and vocal customer base. Another way that we really kind of support the customer with their feedback is when we do the nutritional consultations. That's where we know what the biggest ailments are in the community. So we get to focus on, okay, we're really seeing that there's been an increase in diabetes in this particular space. How can we either create a product particularly focused on that, which we do have, or create a diet plan or something? Who can we partner with to then help this community member? Just an example is the other day, my sister was interviewing someone and they just didn't have access to food, and you're trying to give them nutritional consultations, and they're like, I literally do not have access to food. And you have to print out a whole thing of food banks and where they can get the type of food. And once they get to the food bank, now what kind of their canned goods can they be used into their nutritional lifestyle? So we are very community focused. We try to take a lot of their advice and how not only just the products but the services that we're offering, because we know that it's mission critical. They're the ones who are having the problem, and if we can have a solution to that problem or find someone that can help, that's what we try to do for sure.
I love that. I feel like businesses who really focus on their customers wins, right? Because business's sole purpose is to create customers. Without having customers, you technically don't have any business. So I love that. At least, from Hilda and Danielle, you both are very vocal about like making sure that you get to know your customers and really taking a lot of their insights and feedback, back into your own business innovation and making sure that it aligns with what you want to bring to their world. Now, Marike, what about you? Like, what has customer feedback have been? What role has it played in your business?
Yes, it's like you said. So if you don't take a spot on your customers, you don't have a business. So for me, I do that coaching or therapy. I worked like 4 years for the health insurance or the government health insurance and run a practice place. And so I was I had to get aligned with the rules from the public health insurance. And for me, this really was more like a trap. So because so we have this health insurance concept. It's good to have it. Everybody can have a health insurance. So, but it's still more run like a company which is taking care of money than instead of taking care of new health concepts. And so I'm a voice and breathing coach, and for me, like, to really work in a holistic setting, which try to get a very deep understanding of the person I'm working with and try to reach out to that person in a very multidimensional way, it was almost not possible to do so. And this was kind of, for me, the reason why I need to shift that, because it's like taking so much power I could give to the people from me because I was not allowed to use it. So, and then I start to simply, beside working, I start for half a year to work with test clients. So I ask in my surrounding and through LinkedIn if people want to join kind of special coaching, which will be very individual for that person who want to join, and simply to find out what they think, what they need. And then for me, this was really, really beautiful, because there I really had very different people, like actress and psychologists and lawyers and entrepreneurs, politicians. So, and simply to understand how do these people see themselves, what is the needs they have, what do they think, how they could solve it. Because in my profession, it's like we are sitting here communicating. So, but when it comes to that point, do I want to invest in my way of communication? The first thing people mostly do is, no, I don't need, because I can speak. So why should I take any money or time to invest in my communication, because I can do it? So there is no understanding of what the value is in getting a voice coaching. So for me, in the forehand, it was really about to figure out what people have in their mind about their way to communicate and how they feel comfortable, and what are the question marks. And me, really, this helped a lot to understand, and then I could really create programs. So, and right now I'm very comfortable with what I can offer, and I'm still able to open up to the individual process of the people who are reaching out to me. And so it's really this turning around, is getting spot on the customer, and then start to building the own path. It's this way. Yeah.
I like that you spotlight the need of really finding out what exactly the problem, right? Yes, we all maybe have the solution, or maybe it's a service and a product, but sometimes in order to really understand what is the desire of one customer, right? And really understand like the thought behind that, so that you can really put your services and product at the front center and really see how this will benefit them. I think that is the beauty of really getting to know your customers, right? Because without that, you're probably thinking it's like, yeah, everybody needs my service, everybody needs my product. But to be honest, not everybody is your customer, right? And I think we all experience all of this, like through the conversation that we just, hear from all of you guys. It really just sounds that you know exactly what the challenge of your target audience, and you know how to be relatable to them, and knowing how to address those challenges and issues with your product or services. So beautiful. Okay, next question. I'm really curious, like how do you maintain authenticity? This is gonna get very deep, I feel like it, because authenticity can look so different from one person to the other, and even more so from one entrepreneur to the other. For you in particular, how do you maintain authenticity in your mission while expanding to new markets, or like maybe launching new set of product or service? How do you do that?
I might start. So, because authenticity, the word. So I just had a LinkedIn banner where I put a small sentence with, and this word was included in my message. And just afterwards, I received some messages from people who are connected with me about, they just simply told me what they are connected to with authenticity. And it was, for me, it was really interesting and funny, because it was a wide range of what it is. And for me, the core I understood was it has a lot of impact, and it could be transferred for each of us in completely different ways. So, and so there was kind of one answer, something like, I cannot be authentic all the time in my business. It's too much. It's too much energy. And because for this person, it was like, if I'm authentic all the time, I'm open up my heart so all the time, and this is too much. So I'm start to be too vulnerable. I'm sorry. So, and for me, I never thought that way about authenticity. So for me, this is like, it's there. So it's simply there, and I'm there. So, and it's about this being. So it's being in the moment. And I cannot do better in this moment. Like right now, I cannot speak out that word. So I'm not trying to hide. So I simply do right now the best I can do of myself. So, and that's it. So, and there's no more magic behind it. This is just my opinion about it.
I love it. Being truly you, right? Hilda, do you want to take it next?
Sure. Yeah, I love that too. I think it is, I really resonate of just being yourself. It's really easy, or at least in the States, it's really easy to try. How people used to promote business was that you had to be the tough one, you had to be like very aggressive, very corporate, very this. And that's not how I am personally in any way. I'm very silly. I joke around with my employees and my team. I'm very still professional, but very, very, I think I like to have fun, and I like to enjoy the day, because if we're going to show up to do something together, I think everyone should enjoy what they're doing, right? Play to their strengths. And I think that's part of their authenticity as well. My sister and I run the business together. We took it over, from my dad. So finding our own voice was a big part of it too. And we had to be authentic. And she does not love dealing with people. She likes helping people one-on-one. I love being in big groups. Like, those are the type of things that are authentic to us as people, that make us really great servant leaders in how we grow the company. And I think that portrays itself when you talk about branding, because we just went through a massive rebrand, and they do, you're doing your whole mission statement, your values, and you want to be as authentic as possible, because you don't want to get lost to the customer. And we're very family oriented, we're very values oriented. It's a big part of who our target customer is and who we are as a small business. I know I have like 20 employees, and I know many of them knew me since I was like 15 years old, because the business has been around for 35 years. And I've seen their kids go to college. We've helped them buy houses. So all of these things are very ingrained. And I think it's necessary to be, internally, externally authentic. So when you're portraying that to your customer, they feel it. They feel that it's a family-owned business. You can see it throughout the branding. You can see it how we treat them. We're during the pandemic, everybody was terrified, and people were calling us like, what happens? Do you know? How do you heal this? How do you fix this? How do you not get sick? And you're sitting there hours on end talking to people because they need someone to come to, but they were able to come to us, which is, we want to make them feel like they're part of the family while we're helping them. That's a big part of who we are. So I think, kind of what you're saying, just being yourself. This is who we are as a company. This is who I am as a person. So I think if you can portray that as well as possible, your business is going to thrive throughout so many things. I think it's very easy now, specifically with social media and other things, that people can tell if the brand is being fake, if it's being very well, we won't get into the AI part, but if it's being very inauthentic, right? You can see many companies that fail because they put out this bravado of what they do have, and they're not transparent and they're not honest. I think transparency is definitely a big part of it as well.
I love the fact that you mentioned branding, but also ground every single core values for your business, right? As part of who you truly are. I mean, you are part of the business, and it almost feels like what you value and what you believe will serve not just your target audience, but also your internal team, right? That needs to align. Otherwise, you're not going to show up as authentic as you would like it to be. And that kills a lot of brand because they weren't able to seamlessly integrate their own authenticity into their core values and into their brand, right? And you don't see this like complete image of an organization or a business because they're not truly aligned in any way, shape, or form. So I love that you included that, Hilda. Danielle, how about you?
First, I have to say, Mary Kay and Hilda agree 100% with everything that you're saying, right? And it's so different on this side of the fence because I spent 26 years in corporate. So anywhere from Johnson and Johnson so some really large companies, and then progressively went to smaller companies as I got higher in my career because there was more room. There was a little bit more authenticity among smaller groups, right? But for us, I think what's interesting is a lot of the small business owners that I meet in my space, right, in the beauty space, are running towards a buyout, or they're running towards something. And I know I have my plans in place, whatever, but because I spent so much time, I mean, I went through an IPO, I went through 2 rounds with a private equity firm. So I'm okay with that, but and stay with me because this does come back to sustainability. Growing up, and I'm older, I'm pretty sure, than everybody on the phone. I'm 52, but when I was growing up, our local baker, our local, farmers, our whoever, that's where everything was really sourced. And our local product people, we had furniture makers, we had this. Now, I'm not saying we go back to that. There is a lot of benefit to having multinational businesses, right? We see that in cost savings, but in certain things, I think the communities have suffered because local business people were always, my father owned a repair shop, my grandparents had a farm. So I think the local communities, what we see going on in different cities in the US, and I would say, because I travel a lot internationally, but there is some benefit to being a smaller business and being able to contribute back to your communities, right? And I think that also lessens your carbon footprint. It creates more jobs in the area. So again, I think there's a balance that can be struck. And I think that it would be fantastic if those of us that feel that way, that, really want to drive that, can kind of stick to that. And, I don't need a private jet. What I'm trying to do is maintain the lifestyle that I had as an executive, and I'm good. I'd be super happy if the business makes that, right? So, yeah.
Thank you, Danielle. Okay, last questions for everybody. Last question. Yeah. Looking ahead to 2025, we are already like in February of 2025. Goodness. What do you guys see? Like, what do you think that's gonna come up as a trend, especially, in sustainability, because it is part of your business, right? But also, like, what would other entrepreneurs should be prepared for? Like, what do you think is gonna happen in 2025?
I can start. I have a couple of thoughts, but February also feels like we're in June. In my business right now, I don't know about you ladies, it's going a million miles a minute. The year's flying by, but what I forecast or what I see ideally in the space that we're working in, it's been really wonderful just seeing more people be aware of their nutritional needs, right? About their health, being more into preventative healthcare, preventative skincare, things like that is coming up for sure as a trend, which is wonderful. And we want to be part of that conversation. We want to be in those spaces to help as many people as possible. There is a bit of we're concerned about policies. Policies are just a little bit wonky right now in the United States. We don't know what's going to happen. So that's something to definitely keep an eye out, with the political situation and how that can impact a lot of small businesses is really concerning. I have a lot of friends who are business owners, and they're concerned about their supply chain. They're concerned about the tariffs that are going to come in. They're concerned about their employees. They're concerned about so many things. And like Danielle said, it's like a small business employs a lot of people. People forget that we can probably employ a significant amount of people, and that employs extra people, right? It's the people who then do the health insurances. It's never just one. We impact whole communities, which is a blessing and sometimes can feel like a curse when you're freaking out about it. But I think that those are the things that are definitely going to be, at least for our industry, definitely down the pipeline for sure. The climate change situation, climate impacts, because of the fact that we work with all natural materials, and how that might change is something we're keeping an eye out. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that because people are becoming more aware of their health and all of these things, that there is going to be alignment in the system so we can support as many community members as possible.
Danielle?
Yeah, I would say the tariffs are on everyone's mind, right? Especially I have friends who are into electronics, so they have small businesses there, and everything was coming out of China. So there's this feeling of panic. But what I would say to any entrepreneur out there, and I'm not being Pollyanna, because it is a little scary for all of us and it's uncertain, right? Is that this is how innovation happens. And I'm seeing it in the packaging industry, right? And I know some of my labs are triple ordering certain packaging to get it over before, there start to be shortages. But also some local US packaging companies that I never heard of have now started reaching out through my Shopify site and saying, hey, we see that you have this product. Would you please try this at home? And of course, because I think that will play into the sustainability as well for all of our businesses, um, because that's how change happens, right? So.
Thank you, Danielle. How about you, Marika?
Yes, so I totally agree with Danielle and Hilda, and so I think also we in Germany, so we are like short to have kind of the next elections, and it's kind of a nightmare. So we also are going or are in a huge fight of democracy to keep it right now. And I have never experienced something in my entire life, and since like I couldn't imagine that we have already reached a point I could never imagine. So, and I think in the point of entrepreneurship or reaching goals like sustainability, it's like what Hilda mentioned. It's about community building. It's something where you have kind of reached the most flexible you can ever reach out to. So I think that right now, or what Danielle said with innovation, so innovation is something you cannot control. It simply happened or happens. And it's like you just can have this goal of being innovative, but what comes out in the end is maybe not what you have started with. So, and if you combine this shift we are in right now with this dimension of innovation and flexibility, then you follow your inner path. So, and because I think we will have kind of a huge dividing process of people, what they believe in. So, and I think this discussion we had right now about sustainability is kind of a core value people will divide on, because there are and there will be more people who don't want to take care of that part in their life, and there will be, on the other hand, even more people who gain awareness right now. I think we are gaining a lot of awareness collectively. So exactly. So to get more understanding about this society processes we are in. And so for me, innovation and flexibility, and to maybe have a goal but not reach that goal and instead another goal, is one of, I think, the most important thing to keep the track, to not stop, because it's about this consistency and not to stop. If you have a vision, go. So just go. So, and if it takes 10 more years, okay. So, but don't stop.
Amazing. Ladies, this has been a wonderful discussion. I love learning a little bit more about your own businesses, the way you really leverage sustainability and innovation in each of the business. And even more so, just like learning how you really focus on your customer, right? And really leveraging their thoughts, their insights, their feedback to better service them in your own businesses. So to be honest, amazing, amazing job. Thank you so much for participating in this panel today. We will chat a little bit more after I stop the recording, but for those of you who will listen in for today's panel, thank you for joining us. Next panel is happening in the next 2 weeks. I will be posting that on LinkedIn as well, and I hope I'll see you at that panel. All right. Thank you, everyone. See ya.